I didn't lose the business all at once, it happened slowly. Piece by piece, a contract fell apart. A supplier changed their terms. A bridge loan came too late and left too soon. By the time I realized it was over, the shop floor was eerily quiet, as though the space itself resented my presence. 3 weeks later, my husband walked out. He packed his things like he was correcting a mistake. He stood in the doorway, already wearing his coat, and said, "You're a broke failure." He didn't yell, didn't try to hurt me, just stated it like a fact. I didn't argue. There are some things you can't fight because they're not meant to be changed. After he left, I learned the small, constant humiliations of survival. The math of a tight grocery budget, the emails I left unopened, already knowing what they would say. The way people treat you when your business card no longer means anything. Selling plasma wasn't dramatic, it was just something I did. I filled out the forms, sat in a plastic chair, and told myself that $50 was $50, not a judgment on my life. The nurse pricked my finger, frowned, and tried again. She didn't say a word, which somehow made it worse. Then she told me to wait. The room buzzed with the hum of machines doing their normal work. I tried to remember the last time someone waited on me. A doctor came out with a tablet and a careful expression. He said, "My blood type is null." He said it twice, almost like he was practicing the words. Then he briefly explained what that meant. No Rh antigens, a global registry. Fewer donors than you could count on one hand. I laughed because it sounded like a trick. He didn't smile. He asked if I'd ever had anemia, if I bruised easily, if anyone had ever told me my blood looked strange. I said no to all of it. He nodded, making notes, the way authority figures do when they think they know everything. Then he told me about an urgent case, a man in Monaco with a rare complication after surgery. He didn't mention that he was a billionaire at first. He just said, "Private patient, international coordination, time sensitive." He said there was a family office managing the logistics and compensation. Because it would require travel, consent, and risk, the number came last. He said it like it was part of a medical dosage. It was enough to erase the last year of my life and make space for something new. Still, I felt my hands shake, not out of greed, but from a strange sadness, realizing how close I'd come to being invisible. He didn't rush me. He said there were safeguards in place, that no one would take more than what was safe, that my health came first. Then he said something else, almost as an afterthought. "We also ran extended screening," he said. "Genetic markers, it's standard for donors like you." I waited, unsure of where this was going. "There's a variant," he said, tapping his tablet. "It's related to connective tissue resilience and clotting efficiency. It's rare, but not unheard of. It could explain why you've handled stress and injury the way you have." I thought about my years working on job sites, the falls. That should have hurt worse, the way I kept going when others stopped. I thought of my mom, who used to say I was built stubborn. "It doesn't make you superhuman," the doctor added, reading my face. "But it changes how we understand your history." It didn't feel like fate. It felt like context. I asked for some time to think, and they gave me a room with a window and a bottle of water. I sat there, trying to picture myself as leverage without becoming a spectacle. I tried to imagine accepting help without feeling guilty for it. I texted my husband's old number, then deleted it. I didn't need him to know. I needed to decide. The contract was clear. Flights were commercial, not private. There was monitoring, a limit on the number of draws, and a clause that allowed me to withdraw consent at any time. The family office was polite, detached, and professional. They didn't flatter me, and that mattered. On the plane, I watched the clouds below as if they were organizing themselves into rules. In Monaco, the clinic was quiet, the kind of quiet that money buys, discreet and efficient. I only met the people I needed to. I signed the documents where I was supposed to. The patient never saw me, and I didn't need him to. In that room, the authority was held by the protocols and by people who spoke in quiet tones, as though they were used to being obeyed. Afterward, a nurse checked my vitals and told me to rest. The doctor said the transfusion had stabilized the patient. He didn't thank me like I was a hero. He thanked me the way a colleague would, as if I'd simply done my part. The funds cleared 2 days later. I didn't celebrate. I paid off debts. I reinstated my business license. I leased a smaller space than before, but with better light. I hired one person. I bought better insurance. My husband didn't come back. Months later, he sent an email asking if we could talk. I replied that there was nothing to discuss. I wished him well, and I meant it like when you wish someone well, because it no longer costs you anything. Late at night, I think about the blood in a refrigerator somewhere, labeled with my name, rare and cataloged. I think about how power can come disguised as biology, how authority can redefine you without asking. What changed everything wasn't the money, it was the language. I stopped thinking of myself as someone who was just passive to things happening. I learned the difference between being needed and being owned. I am careful now about my body, my work, and who gets access to either. When people ask me what saved me, I tell them the truth. But not all of it. I say I took a risk when it finally made sense. I say I learned my worth when I was measured the right way. The rest I leave unsaid.